And we had a historic winter with days of what felt like endless amounts of rain and snow. But is California wasting opportunities to save water? The ABC 10 weather team has been looking into this question in their upcoming series, Water Wasted. And tonight, Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods is taking a look at water infrastructure in our state.
Water access in California comes down to one fundamental issue: managing scarcity. Jeffrey Mount with the Public Policy Institute of California and Professor Emeritus at the University of California, Davis says 2 out of 3 years are typically dry in the state, and summers are critically dry, forcing us to capture every drop we can.
We rely on a system of storage where we capture winter runoff and we store it in reservoirs and we store it in groundwater. And so those are our 2 big storage, but that's not it. Remember, 75% of the precipitation is north of Sacramento and 75% of its use is south of Sacramento. So we have one of the world's most elaborate conveyance systems where we move water vast distances in California. If it isn't for that storage and those conveyance systems, we really couldn't exist here in California. We wouldn't be the economic powerhouse we are without that.
He says we have about 1,500 reservoirs in the state, which can hold about the amount of water we use every year. But they are no longer just used for water supply. It's flood control, hydropower, recreation, and the environment, leading some to wonder, are we asking too much of these reservoirs? Can they serve multiple purposes?
That trade-off between flood management and water supply is there's always that tension that occurs, particularly in a wet year like this one. People want a full reservoir, right? Well, the flood management was like an empty reservoir. And so that tension is, we struggle with all our major reservoirs here in California.
And we're already hearing from some of you, so we are literally bringing your questions to Monica.
Right.
I want to make sure I get this right because Craig, he wants to know about Sites Reservoir to our west in Maxville. He wants to know what's taking so long.
It's a valid question, Craig, because it's been about 40 years in the planning stage, and it's still about a decade away from coming online, and that's because of water rights, permitting, and environmental review.
Few things there going on.
Yeah, right?
But even if it does take some time, why not just build more reservoirs to help with California's need for more water?
Well, Dr. Mount says the era of big dam building is done for 2 reasons: economics and location. We've built our dams in all the prime locations where we have the best access to snow melt. Also, it's hard to justify the economics. When we built our dams, we had a lot of help from the federal government. The federal government is not really helping to flip the huge bill that it would take to build those reservoirs. Plus, it's a trickle down to the consumer. We talk about this figure, roughly about 80% of the human use of water goes to agriculture. If that water gets too expensive, you can't grow crops with it.